Okay, and we're just gonna do, you know, I like to always keep things moving because I appreciate you all being here on a rainy Friday night. For some of you that don't know, I'm Kathy Griffith, president of the Griffith Family Foundation Sideline Cancer Campaign, and my co-host, Jim Gregory. So let's give Jim a round of applause for doing this every year. I appreciate Jim doing this every year. And I want to first thank our sponsors, the Pat family, Sean and Kim McCarl of McCarl's Preferred Services, Jeff Behrens and Carl Brendel of the Good Funeral Home in Alto Park Rest, and Dr. Jim Burke of Allegheny Brain and Spine. Dr. Jim Burke in the St. Francis University community, I'm very proud to say, is the first Sideline Cancer chapter in the United States. Jack Andraka has just appointed 50 other ambassadors from all 50 states. So kudos to Lisa Georgiano and Dr. Jim Burke. I want to now thank our board, our Vice President, John McIntyre, our Treasurer, Bruce Erb, Cindy Kansky, our Secretary, Steve Gilday, Dr. Lance DeFrancisco, J.T. Tidd, Jordan Griffith, Jack Collins, Dr. Kevin Yeske, and Nancy Fulchero. And I want to especially thank, yes, a round of applause for our board. They do a great, great job with our meetings and everything. I just appreciate all the work that our board does. I want to thank Tammy Fleck, our executive administrator at the Griffith Family Foundation. And I want to thank the members of the AFFPC, the Alliance of Families of Fighting Pancreatic Cancer, are here tonight. And I also want to thank and welcome Jermaine Marshall. Jermaine is one of the basketball tournament players that is here with us tonight. So a big shout out to our TBT Sideline Cancer player, Jermaine Marshall. I also want you to take a look. On your seat was a brochure of information that's going on tonight about the program, and we also have a timeline. And I'd really like you to really take the effort tonight when you go home to look at our timeline that dates from 2010, when Greg decided with the Ottaway family that they were going to raise hope and awareness for pancreatic cancer. So please, if you even have time during the evening tonight, take a look at the timeline and reading it. And it's amazing to see what God can do from 2010 to 2017 to sideline pancreatic cancer. And so I also want to say, with our TBT team, many of you got to watch us play on ESPN3, and the Love Basketball in Philadelphia did an outstanding article about our basketball sideline cancer team. And so we are going to move the dinner next summer. I want you all to know that we are still having it, but I'm going to have to travel, thank God, with the Sideline Cancer basketball team because we plan to win the $2 million. And when we win the $2 million, they are donating $700,000 to our foundation. So a shout out to our TBT team. So we're moving the date, so all of you know it will be Friday night, August 17th. That'll be the new date. And we're moving the golf tournament to the end of June so that I can travel with the team to Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York. And like I said, we plan to win the entire TBT, God willing. And so, without further ado, I would like to call upon my dear friend Lisa Georgiano to come up and give us the invocation tonight.
Good evening. I'm going to ask you to do something that maybe you think is a little corny, but I don't, because I think energy is all around us. So as we are preparing for this prayer of gratitude, if you wouldn't mind just holding the hand of the person next to you so we can share some energy.
Come on, let's do it.
Come on. Come on there. All right. There you go. So feel the energy, okay? Okay. So as we unite one in energy and love in a prayer of gratitude, good and gracious God, Creator extraordinary, and the source of all love, we come together with grateful hearts. We thank you for the opportunity to be together, to share fellowship, to break bread, and to become inspired to know and to do your will. We come together as one because together we are strong. Together we can love and support one another through challenges that life and death bring. There are no coincidences in your universe, good and gracious God. We ask you to open our eyes so that we might see the God winks and the miracles that are all around us. We ask you to bless every person in this room with whatever gifts it is that they need. We ask you to especially bless all professionals who are working to find a cure for cancer. We ask you to continue to bless all those who are associated with the Griffith Family Foundation, and especially our dear Kathy. We believe that soon there will be a cure for cancer. We remember with thanks members of our family and our friends who endured the suffering of the awful disease of cancer. We know that they are in your loving arms, and they're looking out for us because love never dies. Finally, thank you for the meal that we are about to share. Thank you for the people who prepared it and who will serve it. May this food nourish our bodies and minds so that we might have the strength to do what it is that you ask us to do. In your name, amen.
I tell you, this job keeps getting easier every year. So as Master of Ceremonies, dinner is being served. We'll be back with you in just a little while.
So we're going to begin. I want to talk a little bit about 2 awards that we're giving out this year. And the first award is called the Beacon of Hope Award. And what was really nice at Bishop Guilfoyle this year was that the students, the student government, hosted their first Sideline Cancer Night to help assist the needs of Noah Will's family. And Noah is an 8th grader that has leukemia that is doing very well. And our interns thought it would be very nice to recognize Noah. Noah was not able to be here tonight, but Lisa Georgiano is very good friends with the family, and she would like to pick the plaque up on Noah's behalf and say a few words about Noah. So we have a plaque here to present. It says the 2017 recipient of the Beacon of Hope Award. And this is sponsored by the Suzanne Benton family. And it's presented to Noah Wills, and Lisa's picking it up for him.
Oh, thank you, Kathy.
Talk a little bit about St. Francis.
Okay.
And what you're doing. You know, what we did with Lori Wills.
So you stay with me.
Yes, I will.
So the Wills family found out that their son Noah was diagnosed with leukemia about 1.5 years ago. And of course, he was only in 8th grade at ACCS, Holy Trinity School. And obviously, their minds were blown. And he played basketball and he played football, and then all of a sudden that came to a grinding halt. And the family had to deal with all that. So BG, Sideline Cancer, raised some money for the family. We have a group up at St. Francis, obviously the Sideline Cancer Group, but we also have a group of students called FROG, Forever Remembering Our Golden Angels. So our students were able to pretty much collectively give about $2,000 check to the Wills family. And we're going to do that again this year because it really can be used. So if you could all keep Noah Wills and his family in your prayers. We would appreciate it.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Beautiful. Holy Spirit. Our next award we give out every year to the recipient that, we used to call Greg the Beacon of Light. In fact, Dr. Moser had called Greg a Beacon of Light. And so in honor of Greg, every year we give out this Beacon of Light award. And so the recipient of this year, he's not aware of this, but the recipient of this award has been fighting bile duct cancer. And bile duct cancer is a very difficult one, along with pancreatic cancer, neuroendocrine pancreatic cancer. These are all very, very difficult cancers to treat. And that's why the importance of you coming out tonight, coming out year after year, is that one day we want to see pancreatic cancer be a treatable and curable disease like breast cancer. So the way that I look out at all of you is that the women that started the whole war on breast cancer, you all in this room are those people. You are the ones who really are making a difference to the pancreatic cancer community on a global level. And so this gentleman has been heroically doing the treatment and doing a lot of things, and we know that God has the plan like he does for all of us in this room. And I really would like to bring to the stage my dear friend John Hatch from Colorado. A round of applause for John. John came tonight to be with us all from Colorado, and it is an honor to be with him tonight, and he'll share a few words about his journey and the need for continued research funding. Thank you. I appreciate this.
You could have given me a warning.
Yes, no warning with Kathy.
A little warning would have been nice.
You don't know me well enough. There's no warning.
Okay.
No.
Bile duct cancer is treated by the same doctors that treat pancreatic cancer. You go to the same clinics, you get the same medicines. The way I like to treat it is with humor. And I found out that it's not all bleak. So I came up with the Letterman's 3 top things about having pancreatic cancer. Number 3 is you can hire other people to do things you know how to do without feeling guilty. And the second thing is that when people come to see you, they think you're going to look like a cadaver. And when you don't, they tell you look marvelous. Yeah. And finally, the best thing is I finally weigh what the medical charts say I'm supposed to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so true.
But truly, the best thing is the people who step forward. People like Dave and Michelle and Janet and Kathy that come through and lift you up. And that's the best part.
Thank you, John. Thank you, God bless. God bless always the bright people. God bless. Okay, well, you can continue. We're going to do the, wrong mic. We're going to do the 50-50 drawing close to 8 o'clock. Again, I say to you, please go check out our silent auction. What I want to tell you, too, about the silent auction this year is we have what's really unique. I don't think there's anybody doing this. We have had students donate their artwork, photography, sculpture. So it's really beautiful with the Sideline Cancer Campaign when you have beautiful artwork donated from a photographer in high school, Bella Newman. Abe Angst is a painter. He donated his artwork. So we've got some really talented young people around here. And so, Maddie Fulchero has really been an integral part these last couple weeks, helping us get those auction items that you see in there. So I want a round of applause for Maddie. And to all the students, please, any students that that would like to donate artwork, whether photography, sculpture, we really would love that. That's a great way to bring all the generations together. That's the one thing that I've learned through this, is it's going to take all of us, that there can't be a generational divide, that we've got to work as one body. Like yesterday, bringing in the silent auction things, we were able to rent the Perry Wellington van. You get that for free. I want to have a big shout out to the Hollidaysburg cheerleaders in the back and to Angie Lombardo. The cheerleading squad, along with our interns, came, and I didn't lift one basket. I just kind of told them where to put it. So a shout out to the cheerleaders and Angie Lombardo and our interns. And while I'm here, I do want to talk a little bit about our interns. We've been fortunate this summer to have, 3 outstanding young ladies that give of their time. You wonder how this all comes together. Well, how it comes together is what I have hashtagged as wisdom meets energy. And think about that. Wisdom, that's one thing I do have. Energy, I'm lacking. I'm getting old. So they are definitely my arms and legs. And so I want to shout out to Sierra Cobbler, what Sierra has done with us. Sierra, this summer, as you all know, in that TBT basketball tournament, we needed a media relations intern. Sierra Cobbler literally emailed every basketball's former coach, university, and you think about it, the people in this room that know sports, when you have a basketball player of Jermaine Marshall's caliber, you have people that want to write in their local paper about high school career, college career, European career. So Sierra had 9 players that she was going back and forth with newspaper and television and all kinds of different things for the TBT. So Sierra was in charge of our media for the TBT. And then Caitlin Edgel, the program that you see here tonight, your booklet, Caitlin created that along with the timeline, plus orchestrated a lot of the Sideline cancer auction, and also table seats, getting everybody's things together on who's coming, who's not coming, and filling up a flow chart to make everything appear the way it is. And I want to thank the students. Again, they brought life to the stage by, with ideas of taking all of our Sideline cancer t-shirts and making a quilt, taking Greg's old t-shirts and combining it with Sideline cancer and making a quilt, so that we have a display up here about what our efforts are and how we're doing things with t-shirts. And our video that you see up here, always courtesy of Ken Mountain and Altoona Video Pro, and I appreciate all the work Ken does. And as you see, our video, really highlights to all of you as you're eating your dinner the efforts that we are doing from school to school and university, and really making a difference globally in the war on pancreatic cancer. And then we want to remember, most importantly here too, Marissa Lombardi. Marissa came in, she works full-time at Garvey Manor and is involved in a lot of activities. But Marissa has come in within the last couple, I'd say 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks on a consistent basis, and really was responsible for the beautiful display and the auction of Kiera Sheridan's table and just so many other things that you see in the auction room, the Kiera Sheridan basket. So kudos to, Marissa, and then my niece Abby Bitar also is interning with me this year, and I want to thank Abby for coming up. We worked on a lot of things related to Washington, D.C. with Abby, and a big shout out to someone who's not here, Morgan Jennings. They're away at the beach. She's responsible for a lot of our artwork, graphics. She's an excellent graphic design artist. And so we want to thank, Morgan Jennings. So as you see, what Jack Andraka taught us all when he's been here to speak, is that when you combine all of our gifts and talents and you answer things with love, the world begins to change. And that's the only way we as Americans, we're going to change the world, is if we all utilize the gifts and talents of the younger generation, all age groups, and we all help one another every day. And we use each other's, all of us in here have gifts and talents, each and every one of us. And we want to use those gifts and talents. And I want a big shout out to Nate Diminick. I see him eating his dinner back there. Nate, you have helped me on a lot of levels with Sideline Cancer, and I just want to thank you for the outstanding auction items that you got through Penn State. So a shout out, Nate. Keep up the great work. Very, very proud. Again, I went to his sister's graduation, and we talked about how can we change the world with Sideline Cancer. And Nate and I had a wonderful idea and on ideas, and he's really, like a lot of our awesome items in there from Penn State is to Nate. So keep up the great work, and we know God has the plan. So thanks, Nate. Okay, so I want you to just keep on enjoying your dinner. Like I said, at 8 o'clock, we are going to do the 50-50 winners, and then we'll begin our speakers, and then we have Aaron Willett in the house. And it is gonna be great. So we're gonna have Aaron sing, and so please just keep on enjoying your meal, and I'll be back up shortly. Okay, I'm just gonna continue on. I want to take a few minutes here. I want to thank the Hollidaysburg YMCA. Many of you remember back in 2010 that the YMCA was there for us in our time of need. And so I want to recognize the Hollidaysburg YMCA. If everyone can just, I will have you out by 9 or so, but we just have to keep this moving along. The YMCA, as many as you know, were there for us. We had meetings. You know, Tom Capriva and staff opened everything up to us, to the Y, to create the Griff's Run and Gun. And so tonight we have a whole table of 10 here from the YMCA, and I'd like for everyone to give a round of applause to Tom Capriva and the Hollidaysburg YMCA. Welcome. I have a plaque here for Tom that has Griff's Run and Gun, YMCA in appreciation of your supervision and assistance to create Greg Griffith's legacy to Sideline Pancreatic Cancer. Believe always. Thank you, Tom. And I want to encourage everybody, what the Y has going on is they have an outstanding child care program that takes care of 250 families. And they're talking about an expansion project, and I would certainly hope that a lot of you would support the expansion project of the YMCA so that child care could be at the, not at the Frankstown Center, but at the Hollidaysburg Y, so that we can continue to make the YMCA the cornerstone of our community. Thanks again, Tom. The next plaque we have, I'd like to call up Jermaine Marshall, our TBT player. Billy Clapper, that many of you know in this room, is a great friend of ours. He and John Boyer, former Hollidaysburg standout, came to me back in 2014 with an outstanding idea about entering a Sideline Cancer team in the tournament. And I thought this is such a cool idea, way to raise awareness for pancreatic cancer. So Jermaine is here to receive this plaque and award on behalf of Billy, and what it says is, thank you, Billy Clapper, in appreciation also of your supervision as GM of our TBT Sideline Cancer Tournament 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. So thank you, Billy Clapper, and Jermaine, if you'd like to say a few words, feel free. Thank you, Feel free to just, we're real free and easy.
How are you guys today? I'm just, I'm happy to be here. It's a real pleasure. Happy to join this family, the Sideline Cancer family, and hopefully I can stay around as long as possible. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Lovely. Now what we're going to do is a video. Janet Moore did a legacy video. Greg had done 2 speeches, as many of you remember, here at the casino. Well, what Janet Moore did is she condensed it down to a 3-minute video. And we've not showed the video for the last 4 years because it's hard to watch. I mean, it's a great message of Greg's, but there's so many new people in the room. Again, a lot of people said to me, there are new faces. And unfortunately, as we all know, pancreatic cancer is on the rise. So a lot of these new faces in this room are families at tables of 10 that have been battling pancreatic cancer. And so Greg's video, that's just what I thought. A lot of the new families have no idea who Greg Griffith is. So it came to my attention, the last couple months that it would be nice to show this Greg Griffith 3-minute video legacy so the people who didn't know him could see who started this was Greg, the Ottaway family, and the Moore family. So please enjoy the video. That legacy video we haven't played, like I said, for the last 4 years, but it gives to a lot of the younger people and new people here the extreme reality of what pancreatic cancer is. And it's a very, very difficult disease, and we really need to work hard on this. So Greg talked about God winks. And so we moved into our office on the Diamond in Hollidaysburg 4 years ago. And when we moved in, there was a couple from Washington, D.C. beside me. And again, your eyes have to be open to be looking for, is God going to send you signs? So, I know most people in Hollidaysburg, and I knew they were new. So Tammy Fleck and I introduced ourselves to them, and they both work in D.C. And I just began talking to them both, about Greg's journey and pancreatic cancer, and they both have taken an interest in it. But Dr. Kevin Yeske, as you will see in your program, and if you'd like to pull out your program, Dr. Kevin Yeske is an emergency medicine physician with over 30 years of public health experience, preparing for, responding to, recovering from disasters. He is the former Deputy Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response at the United States Department of Health and Human Services and was the Director of the CDC's Bioterrorism and Response Program. He has responded domestically and internationally to all natural disasters, terrorist incidents, and humanitarian crises. Dr. Yeske received his medical degree from the Uniformed Services University of Health Services and his undergraduate degree from Brown University. So instead of, well, they're just a DC couple, I really began talking to them more and more about how we got to all come together. And so Dr. Ralph McKibben got me involved in the Digestive Disease National Coalition in Washington, literally 4 years ago also. And now I'm vice chair of the Digestive Disease National Coalition, and I have taken Dr. Yeske. He went with us to Washington. We took our interns with us, and we advocated at Senate offices, sub-congressional offices, and we also, I took Dr. Kevin Yeske along with J.T. Tidd to Boston for World Pancreatic Cancer Day. We went up and spent the day with Dr. Moser. We had an outstanding day meeting with all the top doctors in the world in his department for pancreatic cancer. And so Dr. Kevin Yeske is now a board member of our Griffith Family Foundation Sideline Cancer Campaign. And he has really been able to help us with our board that we really are one of the only advocacy groups in the world. We are raising awareness because of our youth initiative everywhere we go. And so, you know, that alone, the advocacy. So when Greg started with his message, it was research, 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 and we absolutely need that, but we also need to get people around the globe to realize that by 2020, this cancer is going to be the second leading cause of cancer death. Okay, lung being one, you know, and breast cancer now is 4, pancreatic is now 3. So our nation needs to, we need advocates like these students that are going with me to Washington, like Dr. Ralph McKibben. Dr. Ralph McKibben is now president of the Digestive Disease National Coalition, and he is working hard to advocate for all digestive diseases along with pancreatic cancer. So who I would like to call to the podium now to talk about what we are doing to sideline cancer is Dr. Kevin Yeske. A round of applause for Dr. Kevin.
For those of you who are worried, my comments will be less and shorter than Kathy's introduction. It's hard to resist the magnetic force that Kathy is, and when we moved next door, it wasn't by chance. She came over, and we spent a lot of time talking about her efforts and what she was doing, and you know, my wife and I talked about how we could help and what we could do to support, and it was really a blessing for us to get to know Kathy on a personal basis and what she's doing and be able to help her out, and I'm sure everyone in the room feels that way. Kathy's asked me to talk about our visit to Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center and Dr. Moser's activity that he has in his center up there that is addressing a lot of the pieces of pancreatic cancer disease and what they're doing. And it's amazing. When Greg said we need the best and the brightest working on this, this is a tough disease, that's Beth Israel Deaconess and Dr. Moser's group. I mean, we met with some really, really bright people and some really motivated people who are hardworking and industrious and good thinkers, and it was just impressive of the effort that they're putting forward. And JT Tidd and I talked about this today, and we're just trying to make sure that I represent what JT saw as well when we went up there, and we kind of compared notes on our observations of our visit. And the first thing that struck us both, and I really want to specifically comment on it because it's important, because I've been to a lot of meet and greets and where the principals come in, they spend a few seconds and they go out, and then the staff takes care of the rest. And this was not that. This was very busy people, very committed people to other activities that spent the full day with us there and spent time with us and asked us questions and asked Kathy questions and listened to us in a way that was genuine and sincere. And our first observation of our visit was that these folks really care about what we're doing at the local level down here in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and in Blair County, and how we can help them up in Boston complete their jobs and meet their mission. And so the sincerity and the warmth that we were met with there was impressive, and probably the single most significant observation that we had. They care. They care about what they're doing with the contributions that everyone in this room makes, and they're doing their best to cure cancer. And they're doing it in a multitude of ways. It's not just they're doing clinical research or clinical care. They have a holistic approach to their system, and they're addressing a lot of different needs, not just the medical needs. And it's impressive how much they care and how sincere they are about educating us, talking to us, and making sure that we knew what our contributions were going to in their center, in their institute. So we were impressed, and JT and I were both overwhelmed with that. We heard a lot about the projects they were doing, and again, to attract, identify, recruit, and retain the best and brightest, you have to start with your physicians in training. And we heard a number of different presentations about the exciting research that the residents in the surgical program and the fellows in the surgical program are doing as part of their overall training before they come out and become board-certified surgeons, oncologists, and et cetera. And to me, as a physician and gone through that process, that's really where you can get the best and brightest. And for smart medical students and smart residents and interns, there's a lot of competition for those best and brightest minds. There's a lot of different programs that want to attract them into those specialty programs, and a way to do it is through research programs and giving them the opportunity to explore new areas of new fields of surgery, provide innovative thought, and be listened to. And Dr. Moser's group exposed us to that in a number of different ways. We probably had, what, 4 or 5 presentations on research projects that were being done by fellows and residents. And so that's important. And these research findings are being submitted to journals, peer-reviewed journals, medical journals that will help others learn from their experiences as well. And so again, this multiplication, this force multiplier, residents doing research, taking those findings and publishing it so other physicians, other surgeons, and other oncologists can understand what's working and what isn't. And that's an important part of their education. And they were all, again, just thankful for the support we give them in that program. And in a number of different places where the articles were submitted, it was kind of cool to see in the acknowledgments. You know, we acknowledge that this research was funded in part by the Griffith Family Foundation. I mean, that's a sense of pride that we can bring back to Altoona that, you know, this is Boston. This is BIDMC, man. The best in the world, and there's Griffith Family Foundation on that. So we're part of that. We're built into that, and it was nice to see that acknowledgement. But it's more than just clinical care and research. We got a couple different briefings and a tour of the lab for their basic science research. And Dr. Moser will talk about this later, I'm sure, but they have this specific thing that's called organoid development. And it's where they take a piece of a tumor and they grow it literally in the lab, in a test tube. And then they take those cells, those tumor cells, and they look at their genetic makeup, looking for specific markers and looking for specific sensitivities that those cells may have to specific chemotherapeutic agents. And they grow these things, and then they expose them to different chemotherapy agents that will help determine what might happen in a patient. And so you can be more precise, precision medicine. You can be more precise in the agents you use against that tumor that maybe are more effective and have less side effects. And that's pretty exciting. And I think back to almost 35 years ago when I was a senior student, undergraduate, and my senior thesis was doing precisely that. We were growing tumor cells from animals and testing them against a crude array of chemotherapeutic agents. And we didn't have the DNA testing and all that back then, but it was relatively sophisticated at the time, pales in comparison to what they're doing now, and that was only 30 years ago. Okay, so in 30 years, we have gone that far with technology and improved our understanding of how this works and making it more precise for patient care. So it's better patient care and it's better for the patients. And so the other thing that was impressive in our visit with Dr. Moser and his team is they have a holistic approach. They have a team approach to this. It's not just we're taking a surgical approach and that's it. We're doing the surgical care and that's it. We met with genetic counselors. We met with the hematologists and oncologists on the team as well. So it's a group effort in that regard. We met with social workers and all that. So a team approach to patient care, again, was pretty valuable. And we also met with the head of the academic research section of the medical center. Again, taking time out of his busy day and spent the full time to talk about what research endeavors they were working on and how that fit into the overall picture. We met with the head of the promotions, I guess the person that goes out and recruits donations for the center, and talked about what they're working on and how they're doing that and what interest they might have and how we fit into that. So it was important. These were busy, important people taking time out of their day to meet with us, answer our questions, and engage in meaningful dialogue. It wasn't just, how are you, how you doing, see you later, thanks for your help. It was meaningful dialogue and how we can work together to raise awareness and help with funding research and help with funding medical care. So again, a meaningful dialogue that, you know, folks from Altoona were able to engage with some really, you know, smart, bright, busy people. The other thing that was neat, and again, I'm not an oncologist, I'm not a surgeon, emergency medicine person who spent the better part of 30 years trying to prepare for large-scale emergencies and disasters and bioterrorist events. Population-based medicine, not the individual care. But Dr. Moser had saved what I thought was one of the best things to the end of the day, where he brought a group of colleagues from his emergency department and trauma group together to talk about what they're doing with trauma. And I'd written a chapter in a book that was edited by the chief of the emergency department there, so it was a good chance to reacquaint with old friends and colleagues there. So I have to thank you personally for setting that up, because to me that was one of the highlights of my day there, in addition to all the other things we did. So what's next? I mean, what's next for us and Dr. Moser's group and Beth Israel Deaconess? What do we do? So November is World Pancreatic Cancer Day in 2017, and we talked about a lot of different things. We talked about expanding the visibility in Boston, engaging students, as Kathy is always interested in doing, in getting students there to hook up with these world-renowned researchers and physicians and social workers and geneticists, and trying to expose that group of kids to what we're doing and maybe what they might be able to contribute to that. We talked about multiple cities and having multiple cities communicate over World Pancreatic Cancer Day and engage in some dialogue across different communities. We talked about more media engagement. Why isn't this not on the Today Show on World Pancreatic Cancer Day? Why isn't there someone talking about this nationally or internationally? So we talked about that and some other ideas for consideration. So these things are still up for discussion, and hopefully in the next couple of months, weeks to month, we'll come up with a way ahead on this and figure out what we're going to do on World Pancreatic Cancer Day for 2017, and come up with a strategy that expands the envelope a little bit, makes more people aware, and lets more people know exactly what we're doing and what this disease is all about, and the good work that's being done by people like Dr. Moser and other centers to cure pancreatic cancer. And I'll conclude my remarks, because I promised JT that I wouldn't talk very long. But I spent some time in the government, and back in the heyday of NASA, government used to go around and kind of do satisfaction surveys of workers. And it was trying to talk to people and do surveys about what they thought needed to be changed in their organization. And in the heyday of NASA, they went around, they did some interviews, and they talked to a facilities person who cleaned up, repaired minor things in the NASA building. And they said to him, "What do you do here?" He said, "I put people in space." Okay? He was the guy who, at the end of the day, emptied waste cans, cleaned the floors, cleaned the carpets, did that kind of stuff. But his mission was the mission of NASA. He helped people put in space. He did the stuff that other people didn't, so other people didn't have to do it, so they could focus and concentrate on the big picture and getting people in space. And I think that's what we're doing here. We're having a dinner and all that, but we're helping cure cancer. We're curing cancer here tonight, and that's what we want to do, and that's together we're going to do that, and we do that in a number of different areas. And my wife put this slide together and from a very crude drawing, and then the interns massaged it a little bit. But if you think about where this started, on the thin line on your left-hand side of the screen, a couple activities, a couple little things that were going on, and over a course of 5-6 years, look how much we've blossomed into. We do awareness and all the demographic that very few other organizations get. Youth, get high school kids, college kids engaged in this discussion, engaged in this thought process, doing a whole variety of things. We, Kathy and others, we advocate. We make sure that this stays on the front burner and on the front page of people, so they can do things that will help us find money for research, move this and advance this as an agenda at the federal and state levels. And then it says training docs up there, but it's really research and clinical care and all the other things that Dr. Moser groups and groups like Dr. Moser's do to take care of patients, individual patients, and take that information from those individual patient care, turn that into population-based medicine and understanding and research, so they can apply that to more than just the patient in front of them. So that's what we're doing here tonight. And I think, you know, as this grows, we're going to be able to mark our successes. And next year when we come back, maybe that end of the tree there will be a little bit bigger and a little bit more exciting and a little bit more in depth, and we'll have more successes under our belt when we get together again next year. So I'm going to keep track of this. We're going to keep making this a little bit more sophisticated and a little bit richer than it is now. But again, I want to thank Kathy for the opportunity to speak tonight, and again, thank everyone for being here and supporting the cause. So thanks.
So as I say, when you looked at Greg's legacy video, when he said it's going to take top official government, people working together, I move in and their office is directly beside me in the Birdcage Walk in Hollidaysburg. You can't make that stuff up. I mean, God is amazing. He can take any negative in our life and he can weave good out of it. If we answer it, you know, with love and with eyes wide open, it's amazing what can be done. So we really, what we're talking about now with our board is we're looking into a sub-congressional hearing on the early detection of pancreatic cancer. So at our last board meeting, Nancy Fulchero is on our board now, and we really are trying to put together a team and really look into, with the help of Dr. Yeski, our board member, you know, to have a sub-congressional hearing with Labor, Health, and Human Services on the need for early detection. And again, if we don't, you know, let Congress know that there is a dire need for it, you know, that you won't get it. So again, you know, we as citizens, as Greg said, if we pass this on to the next generation, God help us. Every generation has to answer the call. This generation, for all of us, we have to, as Dr. Yeski said, we must cure cancer. And literally, you think, what can we do here, as he referenced in Altoona, PA? We're on the cutting cusp with Dr. Moser up at Harvard. He is the world's best pancreatic surgeon. I can't say enough of him. Greg got 19 months, as you all know, in this room. And, you know, he did everything he could to keep Greg here. And I feel, Greg and I felt just so happy that we got the 19 solid months that we got. And Dr. Moser has never missed one dinner. This is year number 8, as many of you know in this room. Dr. Moser has not missed one dinner, and he brought his lovely daughter in. Woohoo, Dr. Moser! And his lovely daughter Ann. And Dr. Moser is the co-executive director of the hepatobiliary pancreatic cancer surgery department at Beth Israel Deaconess at Harvard. And he took, you know, he was promoted from the University of Pittsburgh to Harvard to create a multidisciplinary clinic for pancreatic cancer. And just to explain what multidisciplinary means is, when the patient presents in the office, they all come to you, which is nice, the oncologist, the surgical oncologist, the nutritionist. You have a whole all-star team that comes to you. And so he took that multidisciplinary approach from the University of Pittsburgh and took it then up into the Boston area. And so, you know, with JT Tidd and with Dr. Kevin Yeski, we were able to go up and see firsthand how your money is being spent. And as Dr. Yeski said, you know, not only are we doing research, but the money that you give is used, as you see on the stage. That's why I wanted the visual of the t-shirts. So money that's been given is being used, whether it's advocacy, research, but we're moving the needle globally. I was able to give a presentation down in Florida at the World Pancreatic Cancer Coalition meeting in May of 2016 about sideline cancer. Again, we are the only youth initiative in the world that is advocating for, you know, Dr. Moser and changing the outcome of pancreatic cancer. So it's my privilege and pleasure to bring to the podium Dr. Jim Moser.
Well, we could get to Altoona, but I couldn't get to the stage. Thank you so much for the privilege and honor of being here with you tonight again. For 8 years, that's no track record. I'd like to be able to spend every summer coming to visit with you. It's the reason why I brought my daughter Ann with me. It's really to celebrate the spirit and the fact that what the Griffith Family Foundation is a living organization. It's been able to bring other people with pancreatic cancer into this family and see them through what is really a terrible moment for many, many people. I mean, we'd like to just remember Mary Lauver and the others who aren't with us this year, but in Mary's case, Mary didn't die of pancreatic cancer after so many years of being cancer-free. We have a sacred obligation, which, just to sum up what Griffith said in the words of one of my heroes, General George Patton, who said, "Courage is fear lasting 1 minute longer." And if there's anybody who's ever been able to embody that spirit in the room, it's Kathy and all of you, to be able to sustain an organization like this one for 8 years and to always fill the room, rain or shine, downpour or not, doesn't matter. Everybody's here with a smile and the enthusiasm to make this disease a thing of the past. And we live on with this legacy. I can't say it any better than Dr. Yeski already said it. I was overwhelmed by his words, but I'll just say that we carry your spirit here in Altoona to Boston and around the world. We have a pretty big stage we play on at Harvard. I have a picture of Kathy behind my desk, and every time anybody says no, I always say, "No, don't tell me no." Don't tell me no. She won't like it. I'm not kidding, actually, about that. So, you know, you can call it inspiration for 8 more years and more. You can say that there are no weak links in the chain. And there are no weak links in the chain between Altoona and the work that we do on a daily basis. And I make sure everybody who comes to work on a daily basis understands what the stakes are, and that the money that you raise is in small increments. It's not wealthy people giving huge quantities of money. It's people really giving from the bottoms of their heart to make certain that every donation is meaningfully spent. So is there a way I can advance the slides from here?
There you go. They went off.
Okay. So this slide was, I guess it's 16 by 9 instead of 4 by 3, so it sort of overflows. But what this says is not just another day at the office. So this is what we do now on an industrial basis. Everybody, first time in the world, you can come to us, and everybody gets, we've figured out how to do this now, what Dr. Yeski doesn't know. We figured out how to do this now, even just from cells aspirated through a little tiny needle from a pancreatic cancer. We have an 80% success rate now at growing 3D cultures from people with pancreatic cancer in 3 weeks. So this is meaningful use of technology. This is just since I've been here last July. We have been able to we do biomarkers, which I'll come back to on everybody we meet. We're growing organoids from everybody. And furthermore, we have mouse models, and we're able to move tumors back and forth between mouse models and organoids in order to use living organisms and also cellular models of pancreatic cancer to understand what the true dynamic of this disease is. May I have the next slide, please? So let's just talk about Project Survival for a minute. We were in the Wall Street Journal on June 26th this year. We were on Fox News. We've had a lot of people noticing what we're doing because we've really brought an industrial engineering approach to a disease which has been really treated in a very haphazard fashion. I mean, it's true that institutions have a lot of smart people and so forth, but the real beauty of engineering approaches to diseases is to make sure that there is no haphazard differences between organizations. And what that means is the disease is being treated on a much more a much wider scale with real attention to quality improvement. So what we've done now is we've actually gotten nearly to the end of Project Survival. I think we're going to finish accruing in October, which is a year ahead of schedule. We did an analysis this week, and I actually had a conference call on the drive up here, if you can imagine that. I was driving in the rain talking on a cell phone. But we did an analysis this last week, which I just heard today on the phone. We've entered 100,000 data points since July of 2015. with 15 errors, 15 out of 100,000. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of quality. This program of doing a biomarker development with that kind of attention to detail, I assure you, is going to have some very serious payoffs. Can show you something. Can I have the next slide? So what we're doing, this sort of flows over, and in the interest of time, is just to say that we treat this isn't just about computational biology. It's not just about test tubes. We really pay attention to what makes people different. I mean, we have people in the room today who were told that, oh, they had pancreatic tumors, they couldn't be operated on, nothing that could really be done for them, who are free of their disease as a result of this kind of effort to understand that although everybody thinks that pancreatic cancer is universally lethal, it's not the case. And every time that Kathy tells me, oh, I gave her husband 19 months, I always feel bad. I mean, what's 19 months? I mean, 19 months is a very short life. In the sense of this disease, it may be a long time, but if someone told me my wife had 19 months to live, that would just be anguish. And so what we're really trying to do is find a way past these very minimalist, modest goals to really allow people with pancreatic cancer to feel like and actually live a different future. So if you move beyond, next slide, please. So what we're using is the true capacity of modern computational biology and artificial intelligence with a real engineering approach to a disease, much as the same as Dr. Yeske mentioned, what it took to, in President Kennedy's words, land a man on the moon before the end of this decade and bring him home safely. So this idea of using modern computational biology to understand the differences between people, data entered in a way, we look at weight loss, we look at pain, we look at what pain medicines they're on and on to understand what makes people different. Can I have the next slide, please? And so here's some de-identified networks that result from that. So this is the result of machine learning. And what you can see just in a year is that these are the key metabolites. What makes pancreatic cancer different from the normal? And the computers can pick this out in ways that we would just be completely unable. This is 12 trillion computations, 12 trillion with a T computations to come up with this. And we have 9 markers, and we understand how they're related to each other, and we understand what the trees are. So the farther you get away from those arrows, those things are all phenomena. They have nothing to do with the disease. The true disease is just those very simple things, of which there are probably 9. Can I have the next slide, please? So this is just an example of what we can do. This is somebody who came to the hospital. You can see the CAT scan. It shows a tumor. This is this person's treatment over 2016, and it sort of flows over the slide. But what you can see is by month, person got operated on, got chemotherapy, got radiation. These things all sound great. But what's really great about it is that in the background, we're growing this person's tumor in the laboratory, and the tumor that we grow in the laboratory looks exactly the same as what we took out in the operating room. And we know what drugs this cancer is sensitive to. And we just have to get past the regulatory hurdles to actually be able to take that information back to the individual. Can I have the next slide, please? Oh, sorry about that. Next one. I didn't realize there was animation. So what this is more of the same, that you can grow this material in the laboratory. It doesn't have to just be trial and error in somebody who has a name and a birth date and an address. This can be done in the laboratory in a way that's agnostic to all of the problems about how far away you live, what your age is. I mean, the doctors actually, turns out, look at people with pancreatic cancer and they look at how well they're doing and they say, oh, you're too old or too frail or not well enough to get treated for pancreatic cancer, when it's the cancer that's making them old and frail and not feel well. So I just give you an example. 82-year-old woman in a wheelchair. No family, but she had good grandsons. Brought her to the hospital, said, she's really been going downhill rapidly. Is there anything you can do for her? And everybody's first instinct is, there's nothing you can do for an 82-year-old person in a wheelchair who's living in a nursing home who's at a rapidly failing quality of life, even though her tumor is small. But that's backwards. We treated her. She got out of the wheelchair. She got home from the nursing home. We operated on her, and she's cancer-free 2 years later. She was doing poorly because she was dying of pancreatic cancer. Thank you, but the real message is, it's the disease that's the problem. right? The people do poorly because they have a disease, and we here are gathered tonight to do something about that. So can I have the next slide? So this is Fox News. Skip that. You know what I look like. So I wish this didn't overflow, but just to Dr. Yeski's point, this is what we're up to. We're bringing precision therapeutics. You are bringing precision therapeutics to reality. You pay for a sizable portion of Dr. Barrow's and the work that we're doing on this drug that we're the world PI for, palbociclib. And what this is we have a bunch of mice that were derived from people that were treated with palbociclib on a clinical trial. We are looking at these animal models with taking tumors out of those animal models into cells in the laboratory and being able to show that the cells predict how the animals behave and the animals predict how the humans behave. So there'll be no more of this go to the doctor who looks up something on the internet and says, well, you know, this is what the FDA approves. It's going to be a dart thrown at a target, knowing what the target looks like, and this is the study that makes this possible. And what you see is we bring people from all over the world. We have a multi-center approach. We're doing a trial with the Dutch and the group in Shanghai on modernizing surgery for pancreatic cancer. I have people from all over the world, from Cali, Colombia, from Peru, from Maastricht, the Netherlands, from Shanghai, who come to see us to do this kind of work because we're the leaders at that. And we would never be able to do that without the commitment of all the people here in the room. So I just want to say once again, my hat's off to you. You have an enduring, living organization which has been able to survive the death of the founder and move on to greater and better things thanks to Kathy and her board, who have been very fearless in seeing this through. And you can see that that enormous tree is growing, all those leaves as a result of the roots that are here in Altoona. So once again, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
It's good stuff. Thank you, Dr. Moser. It is amazing what a community can do when you put your heart and soul to it. And so this portion of the program, I'd like to call up Bonnie Waltz and Maddie Fulchero. Maddie in the room, or is she in the auction? Oh, Mary, okay. Okay, we really have had a lot of hardship of late. This entire room has been through a lot. We lost our Sideline cancer ambassador, Kiera Sheardon. Kiera, as many of you know, was diagnosed with epithelioid stage 4 sarcoma at the age of 8. Greg and I met her upon diagnosis. Kiera then, in 2012, Jack Andreyka won the Intel Science and Engineering Fair, and because of Penn State Altoona and Roz and Phil Sky, we invited Jack Andreyka to Penn State, and we all remember Kiera and Jack being front and center. And again, things are happening if your eyes are open. So there's Kiera, there's Jack. Jack just discovers a biomarker. He's on 60 Minutes, Morley Safer. He's on every news station because it was a young man who wasn't going to take no for an answer that there was no hope. Kiera was not going to give in to death. She felt she's going to stay here as long as God wanted her to stay here. That was her answer all the time. Her time would be up when the Lord said it was going to be up. So you think back to 2013, April 5th, when we were at Penn State Altoona with Jack Andreyka and Kiera. And you think about, we have Tackle Cancer, and we have the t-shirt over there. And it was Jack who said to me at the dinner with Kiera, he says, Kathy, Mrs. Griffith, I should say, he said, Mrs. Griffith, Tackle Cancer. I said, yeah, Jack, it's so cool. And he said, it's very limited, Mrs. Griffith. I said, Jack, what do you mean? Tackle. It's football. Everybody likes football. He says, Mrs. Griffith, I've never attended a football game. There are a lot of students like me that we're not sports inclined. We don't. So can you come up with a name? And so Bonnie Waltz, one of our founding members. Bonnie is a teacher, and my son Jordan, my son Jamie, and many others, Caitlin Farnan that is here tonight, sat down, talked over the phone, and what was birthed out of that was Sideline Cancer. Then it was Kiki Davis and Morgan Jennings sit at a kitchen table. They spotted the ICANN. So you can see how one event feeds off of the other, and then as they both said, then it turns into a tree. So the tree is growing even more. Upon the passing of Kiera Sheardon, Maddie Fulcero's family wanted to do something in honor of Kiera. And what they decided to do is they established a scholarship called Courage for Kiera Sheardon Foundation. That is, they made this foundation through the Central Pennsylvania Community Foundation with Jody Cessna. This scholarship will be awarded to any student that exemplifies the altruistic spirit of Kiera Sheardon. Maddie single-handedly had a yard sale at her home. I went up. They sold and had people, strangers, come. And she now is on fire with Kiera's passion to change the world. And so I'm going to have Maddie say a few words, about Kiera and what she has felt. Kiera's spirit, we say love lives on. It truly does. Kiera is in this room along with all of our loved ones. And Maddie, do you want to say a few words about how you feel about Kiera Sheardon?
Sure. Kiera was such an inspiration and an amazing person and friend, and she truly touched everyone that she knew. And I just hope to be able to continue her legacy the best that I can, and we've already started that through the yard sale, and truly everyone I've talked to, they've just loved to hop on board. And we have boundless ideas for the future, and we're just so excited to continue with this in Kiera's name and just do what she would want us to do.
Thank you, Maddie.
Love you.
It is amazing to watch Kiera, the energy from above. It's electrifying, isn't it? She truly is still with us, as all of our loved ones are. And Bonnie Waltz wants to share. Tonight we're going to present a plaque to a young lady. Her name is Natalie Corey. And Natalie is a student, graduate of Bishop Guilfoyle High School, who saw the opportunity to help Noah Wills. And so with the logo Sideline Cancer, think about it, it's multi-purpose. So she decided to host the Sideline Cancer event to help Noah Wills. And Dr. Yeski and I and JT Tidd that day on November 17th, we were in Boston. I couldn't attend it. Bonnie is always there for me. She attended on my behalf, and she'd like to tell you a little bit what Bishop Guilfoyle did for Noah Wills and what Natalie Corey did to make it such a success.
Thank you for having me speak this evening. We want to congratulate Natalie. When I went there that night, you can see the inspiration and the fire that burns in Natalie to help us find a cure. And so I think it's very appropriate that the award, the very first Kiera Courage Award from the Sideline Cancer Group from the Griffith Family Foundation goes to Natalie. She single-handedly came up with the idea to have the basketball game. It was coaches versus kids. She put together all the t-shirt sales, all the raffles, the donations under Jordan's watchful eye, gathered all of the students together in the Sideline Cancer Committee and put together and raised pretty near $5,000. So in one evening. Yeah. So Natalie Corey.
Natalie. So proud of you. So proud of you. Congratulations. Thank you. Just beautiful. Would you like to say say a few words.
I just want to thank everybody for this opportunity and thankful to be a part of the foundation.
We're proud to have you part of the family.
Thank
Sideline
you.
Cancer family. And a big shout out to Bishop Guilfoyle. Bishop Guilfoyle even has an alumni newsletter and a strong alumni association, and they had the Sideline Cancer initiative that you hosted on the front of their alumni page. So a big shout out to Bishop Guilfoyle and the strong alumni that you have. Shout out to you. Proud of BG. Okay. Our next award, again, with losing Kiera, another, founder of this foundation, Ellen Ottaway, lost her battle to pneumococcal pneumonia this fall. And Ellen, as many of you in this room know, Ellen truly took her son, Luke, and her daughter Amanda came to Greg and I, as many of you know, and said to Greg, Easter of 2010, Luke and Amanda said, let's do something, Greg. Let's host a dinner. Let's do a basketball tournament. Let's do something to give the community and you hope. And it was Ellen and Brent that truly took the bull by the horn. They engaged the entire community in. And Booker and Janet Moore, Melissa and Dawn Stubbs, Jolene and Tom, so many people in this room, Cindy Kansky, Larry, Jeff, Kathy Kentner, the list goes on. Jolene used to text me messages about these meetings at the YMCA that we had back in 2010 and 11 about how everyone, Ellen in particular, Ellen was the one, as Cindy Kansky said here tonight, it was Ellen that was running around getting balloons, making sure every detail was right, for Greg, for the community. She really just took it upon herself, as she always did, to be selfless. And so we have a video that the Ottaway family has created in honor of Ellen. So we'd like to take a few minutes to watch this video. Do you have sound with it, Brent, or just pictures? And so if you'd like to just take 2 minutes, we'll look through these pictures of Ellen to remember the legacy and the love that she's left back. Greg and I can't thank her and the Ottaway family enough for everything that they've done for us. She was one of the most selfless people that I've ever known in my life. Everyone came before her own needs, and she will never be forgotten. And in honor of Ellen, Jordan and Jamie both came to me and said, Mom, we really need to highlight Ellen and create a plaque. And our board agreed that every year now we will be giving out the Ellen Ottaway Altruism Award. And this award goes to our intern, Caitlin Edgell. And Caitlin Edgell has been with me interning for 3 years now. Caitlin was the valedictorian of Hollidaysburg High School and is now political science up at Penn State University, that she plans to go on to become a lawyer. Caitlin has been instrumental in so much of what you see here tonight, along with the other interns. These non-paid interns are giving their heart and soul. Caitlin truly does exemplify the altruistic spirit of Ellen Ottaway, and it's with deep pride and love. A big shout out to Caitlin Edgell. So, Caitlin, would you like to say a few words, and we'll hand this, go ahead and...
Hi, I'm just really thankful for this opportunity to continue to work with Kathy. Like she said, it's been 3 years,
And I want to thank Jordan for kind of getting me involved and volunteering me for the internship, which has been really great. And I'm so excited to be here and to continue to keep fighting against this awful disease. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you. And you want to take this to the audience. Let's hold this a minute. Morgan Jennings, as I said to you, is an outstanding graphic artist. And what Morgan created here, Morgan Jennings created a beautiful collage that Caitlin will take and present to the Ottaway family in appreciation for everything Ellen has done. So thank you to Morgan, and thank you, Brent and family, for everything you've done for us. We love you. We also have, for the Sheridan family, Morgan also created this to give to the Sheridan family tonight. It's a beautiful photos of Jack Andraka and Sideline Cancer and a beautiful white rose. Many people in the room know the white rose meant a lot to Kiara and the images that appeared on many white roses. And so it's with real love, and I can barely keep it in. We want to give this to Kiara. And Kathy, can you come forward to receive this? Would you like to, or Dan? Kathy or Dan? Or we can bring it over. Silas! Sideline Cancer Man! Sideline Cancer Man! Woo, woo, woo! Sideline Cancer Man! This is Kiara's brother, Silas. He comes to my office all the time. And he is Sideline Cancer Man! Woo-hoo! Hey, do you want to say a few words about Sissy?
I love my sister. I liked her a lot.
She loves you. She's with you from heaven, isn't she?
Yeah.
She is.
Now she doesn't have the pain now.
She doesn't have the what? Pain, no pain.
Yeah. No pain.
No pain, and she's home. Yeah. Are they making you laugh? They making you laugh?
Yeah.
And you're Sideline Cancer Man, right?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Silas. You can take this. Okay. And now, Erin Willett. I am so proud of you, Erin Willett. She travels to see us consistently every year. We did turn the lights down. Erin, as we all know, runner-up on The Voice, on The Biggest Loser. She's now an ambassador of hope for the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. She's been singing the national anthem for them across the country. And it is with deep pride and pleasure to bring to the podium and to sing Erin Willett! Woo, woo, woo! You take it from here, sister. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Great.
Sounds good.
How's everyone doing tonight? I'm going to sing a few songs for you that Kathy picked out, and as many of you know, you've been here before. I'm not great with lyrics, so. But here's a few songs for you guys. I hope you enjoy them. I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming. There's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My faith is shaking, but I gotta be strong. Just keep moving on. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. It's always gonna be an uphill battle. Someday the chances I take feel I know might knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. Now I may not know it, but these are the moments that I'm gonna remember. Oh shit, I gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. Just keep pushing on. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. It's always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. It ain't about how fast I get there. It ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. Yeah. Oh, gotta keep moving, keep climbing. Oh. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. It's always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. It ain't about how fast I get there. It ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. Oh, it's the climb. Just moving and climbing. Keep the faith, keep your faith. 'Cause it's all about the climb, yeah. It's all about the
Sorry, I really just want to keep lyrics here just in case I need them, but the next song that I'm going to sing, Kathy suggested me sing, and I personally just want to dedicate it to Kira's family. Because I've been here for the past 4 years, and that little girl just had such a glow. And I would only see her once a year. I was joking earlier with Kathy, I'm like, it's like a family reunion when I come to Altoona. But she had such an impact on me, you know? And it's crazy, our journeys through life. The people we meet, you know, some people we just walk by, and some people just truly have an impact. And I remember last year she came up to me and wanted to take a picture with me, and I just felt so honored. So this is for her. Just give me 1 second till I gather myself. But yeah, there's always people that we're gonna not have around forever, and you know, sometimes it's really nice to know that they're still here with us because we are part of them and they are part of us. Oh, okay. I'm ready now.
You're broken down and tired, living life on a merry-go-round. You can't fight the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out. Move mountains.
So, as we end every evening here at the Griffith Family Foundation dinner, we do it with a bang, you know? So on your tables, you will find these little rolled up things that, banners, okay, sorry. I also, like Jack, am not a sports person, so, and we're gonna have some fun. I also this year, speaking of the youth, and it's been kind of a nice, beautiful, woven theme through the entire night, I'm gonna ask somebody special to come up here with me and sing this song with me. Her name is Claire Rhodes. Where is she? So this beautiful lady is helping fight pancreatic cancer. Give it up for Claire one more time. So earlier today we had a sound check and Kathy was like, oh, there's this quiet girl, Claire, you know, I really want her to come up and like sing, but I don't know if she'll get on the stage. And then she walks in and I'm like, okay, do you want to sing? Because, you know, Kathy sometimes, you know, I don't, like, what do you want to do? And she's like, I want to sing. So I gave her a microphone and this girl just, you're helping me through all this too. Like, I'm not a professional at all. So, we're going to have some fun. You guys, in the spirit of that last song for Kira, you can rise up on this one. We're going to have some fun. So this is for everybody to not stop believing. I'm still an awkward person, so yeah.
Do you want me to put the words just in case? Just in case?
Because I need the words, so. There we go. Back's got it. Oh yeah, we have the selfie stick. Remember this from last year? Okay, I also am wearing higher heels, so let's try this. Are you ready, Uncle Steve? Give it up for my Uncle Steve who's in DJ tonight. Wow, I'm still getting used to this. Claire, say hi. All right, I'm gonna do it. Here we go. You ready for it? Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is great. Mop it, baby. Let's blow the socks off this casino. It's a small town girl living in a lonely world. You took a midnight train going anywhere. Claire.
like that.